Good morning, you guys. It is Monday. Sorry about yesterday. We really didn't we went out to lunch and we did stop at a farm, Gilly, but it wasn't enough, and it was so crowded and the smell was very overwhelming at the farm of chicken shit. I don't know if you've ever smelled chicken shit before, but it's overwhelming. So today's Columbus Day. This nail will not stick back on. Today is Columbus Day, so my daughter's home. It is 47 degrees out. It was 80 degrees last week. So, of course, I'm not surprised people are getting sick again. My sister, who I've had in my custody since she was 15, knows that she is very allergic to penicillin. We all are. Myself, my husband, my daughter, my two sisters, everyone. And even if we, like with my daughter, we don't know, but because of my husband's anaphylactic reaction, we don't give it to her. Well, what does my sister do yesterday? She takes an amoxicillin, which I'm pretty sure is a derivative of penicillin. Luckily, she didn't have a reaction right away. Now, I don't know if you can have a delayed reaction, like hours or days later, but I told her, I said, where did you get the antibiotics from? I said, because it's been almost impossible to ever get a doctor to prescribe you antibiotics unless you have something bacterial. Like, they don't give you antibiotics anymore like they used to. Remember back in the day, you'd go and you'd get a Z-Pack. It didn't matter if you had a cold, you always got a Z-Pack. Well, they stopped doing that. And listen, I screamed at her. I know she did something she shouldn't, but she took somebody else's antibiotics. And I said to her, first of all, how are you going to explain it to the hospital that you took someone else's prescription if you're in a anaphylactic reaction and need to go? My sister, she's very careless and not common sense in any capacity or street smart, but she could pick up a book and do any type of book work, but she lacks where it's the most important, which is common sense tells you don't take someone else's prescription. So I'm like, Gabby, why would you ever take amoxicillin? I don't know what type of reaction you're gonna have. And of course she doesn't answer her phone for the entire day, so she's the one that's gonna give me gray hair and a heart attack. That one, yeah, she's a tough one to deal with. But luckily, she didn't have a reaction. I don't know if you can have a delayed one or not. But today's Monday. It is so cold. I'm going to have to pull out winter clothes today. I think it's going to be only in the 50s. So I got to get winter clothes out, figure out what we're going to have for dinner, and get ready to leave for work here soon. So I will see you when I am dressed and ready to go. Hi, you guys. So I am home from work. It is almost 4 o'clock. Today was like a rough day. When I was at work, his grandmother lost a credit card somewhere in the house. And we didn't get much done except searching for like 6 hours for a credit card. I got there at like 9:30. And it's almost 4:30, 9:30, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've been home for about an hour. So about 5 hours, 6 hours we searched for a credit card. We did end up canceling it. Luckily, it's got to be somewhere in the house because there was no transactions since the 29th of September. So that was at least good. So it was like a long day. We went through everything in the house. And I know technically that isn't my exact job, but I do what is easy and helps the family run smooth. So that's what we did today. It was a long day, but I am home now. I have really, really, really nasty cramps. So I'm just sitting on the couch with a heating pad, just relaxing. My husband went to get our car and dropped the rental back off. Finally, we have our car. They did an amazing job. You couldn't even tell. And it was expensive. It was like, if the insurance hadn't covered it, it was like $4,000 because I guess the frame was bent. I don't know, but they did an amazing job. So he picked the car up, and I feel bad, but I sent him to Aldi's because I needed something for their lunches for tomorrow, and I just couldn't do it tonight because I don't feel too good. And for dinner, we're gonna throw, it's not kibasi, but it's the same shape as a kibasi. It's just beef instead of like Polish Polish sausage. And then I'm gonna either do like a risotto rice or something on the side, something so easy. I don't know if I'll film myself cooking because I don't feel too good, but I will just show you what we're eating. I also, hello, he has, the days that I'm long, he does not like that. But I do have a clip that I'm going to add in here from a couple nights ago, just talking about some of the health issues that I've been having and just advice. So I think that I'll add that into the clip. I wasn't going to because I was afraid of maybe the judgment with it, because I do have health anxiety, and I feel like if you don't have hypochondria or health anxiety, sometimes you don't understand, or some people aren't sympathetic towards it, and they say to you, well, just go to the doctor. And if it was that easy, obviously I would have went to the doctor a long time ago. But I feel like what I have to say and what I was feeling in the other night is valid, and it might help somebody. I have been getting a lot of private messages like on Instagram and TikTok, and they are so sweet. Don't ever feel uncomfortable to private message me there. I know people, like, they'll say, oh, I'm not being weird, but I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's actually extremely kind and can also be very brave to reach out and make sure someone's okay, or just to reach out to someone. I often think, like, even when I see small creators, I think about reaching out and just being like, hey, you know, don't be so hard on yourself, you're doing great. But I know that, like, they get so many messages, but it is nice to see. So don't ever think that I don't see them, and I try to always respond to anything private and anything public. So yeah, I'm just gonna sit here till they get home, and then we'll make dinner, and I'll post that little part. I think I had, my hair was in a towel, and I was sitting here in a weird mood, so I guess it's like a 14-minute of me just talking. So if you're interested in seeing what I have to say, it's there. If not, I understand. My sister and her boyfriend are finally moved in to their new apartment. It's a cute little place. They had a few hiccups. They did have to have an exterminator come in, but you know, we do live, well, they do. I don't live as close to the beach. And you know, when you move into a rental, you run the risk of bugs. Luckily, it wasn't anything like bed bugs, because that is a effing nightmare. It was just like a few, I guess they're like German cockroaches. I know it's disgusting. Or just like your average household cockroach. They were mainly in the dishwasher, which, if you know anything about running a house, your dishwasher is a breeding ground for a lot of things. That's why you have to keep it extremely clean and dry in there, because unfortunately cockroaches love wet, damp, dirty, dark areas. And unfortunately, your dishwasher is definitely a breeding ground for that. So they were in the dishwasher, and few of them were grown, but most of them were babies. But the problem is, even if you don't see them, there's a lot. You know what I mean? You don't realize how many, if one can lay thousands of eggs. And there was some, I think, behind the washer and dryer, which was stackable, and a few that she saw behind the fridge. So her best friend's boyfriend was an exterminator for like 5 years. He came in, did his magic, and since he came, there hasn't been one roach, just dead ones. So I think that's a good sign. And I told her, like, your dishwasher, you gotta be like on top of that. Run vinegar in it all the time, baking soda. If you have to, unfortunately, bleach it, you might. She was able to clean the fridge real well. The person that lived there before them was disgusting. And I don't mean that to be rude. They just never cleaned anything. They had an issue the first night with the stove. Something with the pilot light. And they ended up having to call the fire department. I'm like, oh my God, did you guys call 911 or did you call the non-emergency line? And they're like, we called the non-emergency line 4 times and they didn't answer. So then we had to call 911. I'm like, you know what? You did the right thing. Listen, you guys, my sister's 23 and he's only 20. They're kids. Now, like, if you knew what was going on, of course you don't want to call 911 unless it's an emergency, but they thought they had an emergency. It was in the middle of the night. She had called me. She had called my husband, my daughter. We were all sleeping, and I usually don't turn my phone off except on the weekends, and it was, of course, a Friday night or a Saturday. I don't remember. And I thought only my family would have these things happening. And it's not, I know it's everybody, but it's like, it wouldn't be a Toth thing unless there was a million problems moving into something. So they had to call the fire department. They were so nice and they were laughing, but I did tell her, like, hey, do you have a working carbon monoxide detector? And she said yes. I said, because that would be the only thing I would be scared about. But the reason they did essentially call was because it is a gas stove and they smell propane. So they did do the right thing. So that was the first night they were there, and the bugs are under control. And he did check for bed bugs and everything else, and it looked like all it was like your average cockroach, which is disgusting, but I guess it could be much worse. The place looks cute. They really have cleaned and did a good job. The only other issue they're having is something is weird with the stove. They can't use it. I told her that's unacceptable. Like, you have to tell the landlord you have to have a working stove. And something is weird about the dryer, but you know what? They're young. They want to be together. So it's not, things aren't easy when you're young, man. I moved out when I was 19. I had just had a baby, and boy, the things that I could tell you, we lived in, and what I meant by living by the water can also cause you to have like water bugs and cockroaches. They bring in some funky things. Just living in a damp and humid area. Me and my husband lived in, we lived in 2 rentals. Then we bought a house, and then we bought this house. But I have some crazy stories from when we first moved out on our own. Boy, it wasn't easy, that's for sure, and we were broke. But I just hope, they both work in, like, they both have decent jobs, so I'm hoping that things just work out for them and they get engaged soon and things just work out, because my sister has been through more shit than most adults go through in their entire life. She's been through it in the first 16 years of her life. So both of my sisters, they've been through a lot. So, but yep, she calls me for every little thing. Like I said to her, you're calling me for things that you already know. Like, you know how to run a dishwasher, you know how to do laundry. But I guess, I'm the closest thing she has to a mother, so I guess she's going to be calling me for a lot more. What I'm going to do is, and maybe I'll share it with you, is I'm going to get a notebook here soon. I was supposed to do it over the weekend, and I'm going to start writing out recipes, like with the cost and everything, because they're going to need to be on a budget. I'm going to do that for her. So, all right, I will see you all in a little bit. Hey, you guys, so I'm just going to end this here. I was going to show dinner, but I was just watching the news a little bit about what's going on in Israel, and I saw some TikToks, and I'm just like, I think like I'm so much of an empath sometimes that it just really affects my mood, and it's just, I think that if you believe in anything, whether it be God or the universe or whatever you might believe in, you might want to just say some extra thoughts and prayers for them, because it is just beyond anything that we can even begin to fathom, and the censorship with it. And I just think we have no grasp on what they're going through right now. It's beyond. And it's just scary because we feel, or I personally feel, very unsafe, and it's just scary. So I think I'm just going to end it here, and that's it. I didn't even want to film today after, or once I got home. I'm just in a really weird mood, and it's just awfully sad and frightening. It's just almost unfathomable what these people could possibly even be going through, and it's being recorded, and it's just beyond anything I can even comprehend how evil truly can just what evil is hiding. It's just scary how people can hurt and just kill and be so brutal. I don't know. I think if you believe in something, now would be a good time to be putting out some good thoughts, I guess. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Tuesday should be a much better day. I should be feeling better and be back to my regular Vlogtober of doing things. Tomorrow's a cleaning day, so I will bring you along with that, and I will see you all tomorrow in a much better mood.